Hello and welcome to Golly River Pottery. Today I am going to be making some mugs in red stoneware clay. So this is a 1.75 pound weight here, and I've already thrown that ball there in the center, and I'm going to get started on this. I'm going to show you a trick for dealing with really gritty clay and something that you can do to make your rims nice and smooth. One of the things with pottery or with working with clay, when it has a lot of grog in the clay, which is either sand or some clay that's already been fired, the more water you add, the more of that rough pieces come up to the surface. So on coffee cups especially, it's important to have a nice smooth surface on the rim because that's where our lips are going to be. So I'm going to show you how I get around that little problem here when I get done with this mug. So I'm centering it now using my handy dandy centering tool. And that is centered up nicely. One day I'm going to show you all the different centering techniques that you can do if you don't have a centering tool, but like I said, I just go ahead and use mine because it makes things quicker and less wear and tear on the wrist. Alright, so opening with my fist and finding the bottom, open out, and compressing back to the center. So it is important with the red clay to definitely not use more water than you need, and also to try to get through the piece as quick as possible. Alright, so that's my first claw in, and now the first pull. Or that was my claw in, and now my pull. Have my pinky right around the rim so that it keeps the top part on center. Add a little bit more water. Cut in at the bottom. This is pull number 2. I'm leaving extra clay there at the rim, and I'm trying to leave as much slip on the rim as possible also. Get down there and get that clay out of the bottom. I've talked about the importance of not leaving too much water in the bottom of your piece. That'll cause the little clay particles to separate and give you an S-crack. So always make sure that we keep that bottom nice and dry. Alright, so this is the last pull. Straight up to the rim. And mop out the bottom again. Get that a little better. Alright, and I'm just going to add a wee little bit of water, just enough to get the sides wet. And I'm going to put gentle pressure pushing out and round this mug out. It's just a nice standard shape. It's a great mug for cradling in your hands. Slightly necked in for heat retention. Easy to clean, easy to get to the bottom. Even with my very large hands, I can manage to get my hands all the way to the bottom of this mug. Let me fix this roundness a little extra. Alright. And mop that bottom one more time. Alright, so now for my trick on the rim. So, I like to use a paintbrush. I think I've talked before about how the paintbrushes add moisture as opposed to taking it away. Where a sponge pulls the moisture away, it brings the rough particles to the surface. So if you don't have slip readily available like I have right here, the fine particles from this clay are on my centering tool. So I'm going to get some from here. But if you don't have this, you can use the slip that you use for attaching handles. So right there is this slip, and it's very smooth. And what I'm going to do is paint that back on the rim. and it gives a very nice layer of amazingly smooth particles and makes a nice smooth surface for the glaze to adhere to, and a nice smooth surface for the lips that will be drinking coffee out of this in the future. And then I also take my same plastic that I always use. Stop this for a second. You can see the rim is not very attractive right now. It has a lot of lines in it and that extra slip. So I'm going to take my same piece of plastic. It's a little trickier with this than with the white clay, because with the white clay I don't really have to worry about any grog. So I'm trying to lightly lay it across there to keep as much slip there on the rim as possible. There we go. So it gives a nice smooth rim. You can see there's no craters or anything that sometimes form with red clay. And that one is pretty much done. So I'm going to do my undercut and cut it off and place it in the damp box for drying. So I'll probably make 3 or 4 of these, and then I'm going to move on to my ripple mug. So there it is. I'll hold it up for you. It still needs cut off, but my wire tool is not handy, so there she is. And thanks again for watching, and more to come from Golly River Pottery. Bye-bye.